It is not stress that kills us, it is our reaction to it. This is a quotation by Hans Selye, a Canadian scientist most famous for his research on how stress affects the body. During our introductory speeches, we talked at length about the level of stress each of us feels when we have to speak in public. I feel that I'm qualified to speak to you all about this topic because not only do I experience a great amount of stress in my daily life, but I've thoroughly researched this subject and I feel confident in my findings. Today, I'd like to talk to you all about how stress can be dangerous to your health. I'll go into depth about what stress is, how it can be dangerous to your health, and ways to reduce your levels of stress. So, what is stress? According to helpguide.org, in an article titled Stress Symptoms, Signs, and Causes, stress is your body's way of responding to any kind of demand or threat. When you're under any amount of stress, your body releases chemicals such as adrenaline and cortisol that give you an extra boost of strength or energy that helps your body protect itself in various situations. When your body is operating under a normal amount of stress, you'll find that you feel more energetic, focused, and alert, which is extremely helpful in emergency situations. For example, when you're driving a car and someone swerves into your lane, stress is what gives you that focus and concentration to be able to hit the brakes to avoid an accident. Stress is also what keeps you focused during a presentation at school or gives you the drive to study for a test when you'd rather be watching TV or surfing the internet. However, in extreme circumstances, stress can shut down your body's ability to think and focus clearly and hinder the body's ability to repair itself. Which brings us to our next point. How can stress be dangerous to your health? Well, any kind of stress affects your mind and body. During minor episodes, such as the stress you feel before speaking in public, your heart rate and your blood pressure go up, your sweat glands start working overtime, your digestive system shuts down, which can cause nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea, and your muscles contract and become tense. According to APA.org, in an article titled How Stress Affects Your Health, sudden emotional stresses, such as anger, can cause heart attacks, arrhythmias, or even sudden death. Chronic stress, or stress endured over a long period of time, can pose its own set of risks to your body because it can make existing problems even worse. It can cause you to feel fatigued, unable to concentrate and focus, or to be irritable and angry for what seems like no reason at all, and it can even cause disease. Chronic stress can cause diminished immune system function, which can lead to more illness and infection. It can also lead to weight gain, because overeating is one way that people deal with stress. And you may have heard the term stress eating. So, what are some ways that you can combat stress in your everyday life? Identify your stressors. It's important to monitor how you're feeling throughout the day. If you start to feel overly stressed out, write down the cause. That way, once you've identified the source, you can make a plan to combat it, which may mean setting more realistic goals for yourself or asking for help where you need it. Rest your body and mind. Studies have shown that people who get the recommended 8 hours of sleep per night feel much less stressed out than those who don't. According to YogaAlliance.org, in an article titled Benefits of Yoga, relaxation techniques such as yoga or meditation can reduce stress and even boost the functioning of the immune system. And lastly, get help. If you've tried the previous techniques and still find yourself feeling overwhelmed, consult a mental health professional. They can help you learn to manage your stress more effectively and create a plan to overcome it. In closing, I'd like to remind you all that the purpose of my speech was to inform you about the dangers of stress to your mind and body. I explained what stress is, how chronic stress and acute stress can be dangerous to your health, and ways to reduce your levels of stress. As I mentioned earlier in my introductory speech, I usually find myself dealing with a great amount of stress and anxiety, being a mother, a wife, and a student, all at the same time. I put a lot of effort into researching this subject, and I feel confident that my findings will help not only myself, but others like me. If any of you are dealing with stress in your everyday life, I challenge you to try some of these techniques to see if they'll help you as much as I believe they will. Hans Selye also said, adapting the right attitude can convert a negative stress into a positive one. So when you're feeling stressed or anxious, try to take a step back and remember that this too shall pass.